I'm going down to the agenda now. There are a number of items that are just follow-ups. I'm going to try and keep my Mickey in front of me. We'll see how far we get at this site this evening. First of all, Solar City update. I had actually put that out last Friday with some hopes I may have a little more feedback than I do this evening. We discovered we need to give them more documentation on our meters. There are over 50 different meters. Based on the information we've given and that they've reviewed, they think we could have a 2 meg project, which is a pretty good project. I've been very conservative with the predicted savings by saying over 100,000. It could be quite significantly over 100,000 each year. I noticed there was something in the press in the last day or two, another community that's done that, and they talked about their multi-year contract would be a couple $1 million. Well, ours would too. There doesn't seem to be a concern that we're getting it done in time. There's been a bit of an extension on the project, but the concern is the first ones that come in will be reviewed, and the first ones approved will begin to draw the money down. When the money gets drawn down, the next one goes to the next round, and as we discussed earlier, the benefits are different. But
do you need copies of the NICU bills and the pod numbers?
They need the pod numbers. We gave them the meters and the accounts, and we didn't add the pod numbers, so we've got to go back and do that now.
I think I got it.
Boy, if you do, don't tell me.
When we go back.
Because when I left the office, our finance manager was burning the oil to try and get that done.
When we go back to the office, I think I've got a stack of them.
Yeah. He was working on those when I left, and he promised me he'd have them done. He thought today. So if he doesn't have them in the morning, I'll call you on your cell. It's like a lot of things. It just it takes some time. So I'll keep everyone informed. Obviously, if the project looks like one that will get funded and everyone thinks it will, then we have a whole nother decision, a little more time to review it, and then you would award a contract for that time. All right, any questions? Let's go to number 2 then. Natural gas update. That's been changing rather rapidly. As you know, the projects began. We began to see some mobilizing on the Cumberland Head area. And we were a little concerned that the cart was getting a little in front of the horse. And the big issue, remember, with that on Cumberland Head, a big important part of that issue is the commingling of the gas line with our water line. And I know Marty, I don't think he missed the breadth of any of those meetings because, and I have to give some credit where it's due, when we had the advantage to have Marty there full-time, part-time, that was one of the bears. I just kept throwing at him, anything with energy. We got changes in the lights and with some other initiatives as well as this project. We were really able to tag team. I know Marty was working hard with the utility and the expansion, and I began to focus a little more on the attorneys with the Public Service Commission. We had a very positive meeting last Thursday. A couple of the utility representatives came to the town hall. Mr. Stoddard was there. I believe Paul Wright was there. I was. We put other representatives of the utilities, several of them, on speakerphone. There were a handful of concerns. I would say they were all responded to appropriately. I really made a point of emphasizing that we agreed that using the trench should be manageable. But I think I always said where feasible, where possible. We knew they had bored up the Cumberland Head Road by the ferry. County didn't want us to trench there, so they're going to have to bore it. There may be areas where the rock is too hard. As a result of the rock being challenging, the trench may not be as wide as other places. You just are going to have to work with us. And in fact, their point was there was no way they wanted to create a situation where the line would be in jeopardy when we had a water line. The gas line would be in jeopardy when we had a water line problem. Theoretically, in a good world, there would be plenty of space in the easement, in the trench. The gas lines on one end at a much lower, much more shallow, and the water line on the opposite end much deeper. We talked about collaboration when those times occur, etc. They assured me they were working hard to get some letters out. One of the concerns, you remember, Marty, we talked a lot about with the community, if they don't know this is coming. I'll be the first to say, when we began to see the line and some mobilizing, I began to believe it's going to happen. All the maps, charts, reports, and press conferences were nice, but I was a little bit of a Thomas myself. And I see them digging, I'll believe they're digging. But we hadn't told people. I don't want to get in a situation where individuals just bought a new hot water tank, but they didn't get the one they would have otherwise. And of course, last fall early, we were talking about people that had to make decisions on fuel oil, and you just can't wait that maybe I'll get gas. So they indicated there would be letters sent to homeowners, and would be.
Did they give it? Is there a target date for this, Bernie? I mean, we're talking about, you know, we're almost out of April.
Yeah, we actually slowed them down with their digging because some of that hadn't happened. And Dave Ridley indicated that those letters should be going out this week. I need to follow up with him, needless to say. We had all the answers we wanted to hear last week. We have to see if we get the actions that go with the answers now. But indeed, they plan to complete the project as originally designed, and if you recall, that goes through 2016 and 2017. Today, I also received a press release this afternoon from the Public Service Commission. I had some conversations with the utility and others that it looked like we were going to have a settlement on the franchise issue. The Public Service Commission and the utility, their attorneys, have come to an agreement. The Public Service Commission has put a press release out. My conversations today with the utility, they were still working on what their press release might be. This is a result of some extensions that were done outside of the franchise in the past. We stumbled on, I think, 2 years ago, right, Marty? When they were going to Consumer Square.
Longer ago than that.
Well, you said all along this was supposed to be a town-wide, and it wasn't. Here we go, right? They've settled, and the important note of that is there's going to be a rather significant amount of money. I have to say, because of the press release the Public Service Commission has put out, had a little different slant to it. They're indicating more than $1.65 million. I thought it was $1.75. That's going to be distributed to municipalities other than the town of Plattsburgh. It's inclusive of Dannemora, Peru, Saranac, Champlain, the village of Dannemora, and the village of Champlain, and the city of Plattsburgh. Those are very, I believe, a very small portion of this. The thrust of this was because of what went on with the town. In fact, in their press release, they indicate that this was a result of issues with the town. What this translates into is another rebate. One of the concerns we had, there were a lot of iterations of how to help homeowners make conversions where they had to buy a new furnace, put a new system in, and they could take some of the savings as a result of using natural gas and carry that cost over a period until those expenses were caught up, and then their bills would actually drop to reflect the rate. There are NYSERDA rebates and credits, and the utility has rebates and credits. Now, I have to say primarily, because I'm still reading and getting information, there will be well over $1 million targeted for the town. And it could be up to $800 per household, with another $500 added to that for those who might be able to qualify for heat help, for a total of $1,300 with this extra rebate on top of any qualifying rebate through the other programs.
That goes to the ones that signed up.
This goes to the people who are going to convert to natural gas, and as a result of that, need to change their heating system. In some cases, it might be a burner, it might be a furnace, and it could even be more complex.
Does it also go to people who signed up in the past?
Yes, that's a very important point. It goes back as far as, I believe, July 14. Marty, you worked a lot with the Banker Road, getting that expansion, that continuation done. And I know that was very frustrating. They can also apply. It's probably going to be more frustrating when someone says, show me your receipt. Not everybody keeps the receipts for these items. Some people do. Some keep it right on their hot water tank, right on the, right, you do. And in some cases, you can go back to the business where you bought it. If it's a local business and you've got it in their files, they might be able to create a duplicate receipt. But they will rebate for projects back to July 2014. Now, the other huge piece that I've seen in this, and again, I haven't been able to get into it. This press release came late this afternoon after I had only phone conversations. The other thing that we had lobbied heavy for was to have a liaison representing the community, working with the utility. It's extremely frustrating to navigate the system. It's complex even when you talk with them to truly understand what they need and what you need. We want to make sure nobody gets ripped off by vendors who just simply want to get in and get some work, and the end result isn't what they need. So they've put aside an amount of money which looks like it's up to $70,000 a year, salary and benefits, for a position for, I believe, at least 4 years, while this money gets this isn't loans, this is rebate money, while this money is turned back to the homeowners, which is huge. They'll be looking in-house first. This will be a NYSEG employee who will be housed at the office, but they'll be in the community. They'll be the person you call, hopefully the person that goes to your home, sits down, helps you with the forms, helps navigate the system so people can get these rebates and get some help with, should they hook up, what do I have to do in order to get natural gas to my property. So this is coming. I was a little surprised to get a press release from Public Service Commission before I got anything from NYSEG. I contacted Dan Heath at the press, and he had just gotten it. So, and I asked him if he got anything from the utility. He hadn't. So I'm guessing now this is out. Maybe the utility will get one out tomorrow morning. So anyway, the important thing we need to do is let people know, and it isn't just Cumberland Head. This is next year and the year after as well, all over the town, that these rebates are available. This liaison will be there to help them and guide them through the system. Unlike some things we went through before, like public sewer, this is a little more like water. The line's there if you want it. Tap in, it's yours. If you don't want it, you don't have to do a thing about it. Remember, public sewer is a little different operation. If it's there, you must tap in. And there are people that don't want natural gas, and that's fine. For those who choose it over fuel oil, they're going to have some significant savings. And with these rebates, their savings are going to come faster. That's exciting news. I think back to, again, a couple of years back, and where we are with the change in the franchise, the settlement, the rebate program, the streetlights. We've made our mark there. We're paying attention. And to me, Marty, this is a little bit of a crowning achievement, I guess, a good announcement. I don't know what else is left other than get the work done and hopefully get it done well. good job. You burned all that big.
Well, there's a lot of, there's a ton of work to be done and a ton of work to, you know, that company has to be monitored to make sure that things happen. I'm chagrined that we're where we are and they're where they are in the process. When we sat down last June, you know, there were assurances given as to where we would be in this process, okay? And last year, they were supposed to address a number of people who were on the line but were not connected, and they failed miserably on that project. And in the meantime, they were to get themselves organized and set up to be ready to hit the ground running, and they're not ready to hit the ground running.
Those people who are on a line and want to get hooked up, that's supposed to be ongoing while they're digging this new line. I know they were doing some, I saw signs of that last year too for a while. I never got a list of who those people were to ever be able to follow up, but you're right, especially since they were bought out by Iberdrola, you've really got to like it.
Absolutely. I mean, that company,
It's different than it used to be.
they do not see the advantage of having residents on natural gas. And if anybody wants to debate that with me, I'd be happy to debate it with them.
And probably stockholders don't see the advantage either.
Correct.
We need to move our meeting to the Cumberland Head Fire Department.